Come on, say. Mm.
Hello, 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 hello. This is Coach Lisa Prudy, and I am with Freddy. We are coming back with a new episode of The Smart Move. And as you know, we are always finding new ways to help you achieve your dreams, to make your life easier, to make your life more enjoyable. We share the opportunities that we know. We do not pretend to be experts of everything. We want to make sure that we share what we know. And in that process, hoping that you're also going to reach out and share what you know as well to complete us as we do share what we know with you. So together, we're going to be able to achieve great goals together. And talking about goals, today we're talking about exactly just that. And so Freddie wanted us to talk about goals because there is nothing great that can be achieved without goals. So, Freddie, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing, as you can see with this big smile.
Awesome.
I'm doing amazing. So, you want us to talk about goals today? Why?
Ah, goal is a great topic, exceptionally at this time of the year. Everybody is trying to start fresh with new goals, and that's something that we've heard about for years. Like every years, people will come up with the idea to start with new goals.
Mhm.
Um, so I thought it would be nice if we talk about goals.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that will be very interesting to
That's
talk
not.
about.
That's amazing. I agree with you entirely because I know for sure as we end this year and we start a new one afresh, a lot of people are going to set new goals, new targets. They're going to have new resolutions, New Year's resolutions. But I
Mhm.
personally believe that goals to should be something that you don't wait for the new year to start in order for you to create goals. I think that we have to live what John Maxwell calls an intentional life, right? And there's a book from John Maxwell that I read. By the way, for those who don't know, I'm a certified John Maxwell coach. I went through his training to be certified as a coach. And there's one of his books that I love. It is Today Matters. So people want to set goals and all of that in the future, but they don't take into consideration today. So as you set goals, it's important to start with today, what you're doing today, and you have to live
Mhm.
intentionally. And in that process of intention or intentionality, you are able to project yourself into something better, bigger, okay, smarter, that's going to have more impact, that's going to fulfill your purpose more. But for that to happen, there are actions that you have to take today. And that's really why I love his book, Today Matters, and I recommend that book to everyone. So I just want to ask you, Freddie, is there a resource or something that that you've read, a book, or maybe you've listened to a to an audio book, or you've watched a video, any resources that you remember that caught your attention and really helped you understand goals better?
Yes, Steve Harvey always talk about gold, and that man, I love him.
Yeah,
He's really straightforward, and
yeah.
he'll tell you what he actually did, and this is something very important. And in one of his video, he was talking about you having to write your goals down,
Right, right.
and
The vision.
I did, and it's extremely powerful
Yeah,
because if your goal stays in your mind, nothing will happen.
that's
You
right.
want to wake up every morning and go to your board. It can be in your room, your bathroom, if you start your day like in the bathroom like me. You'll have that board right there so
Mm-hmm.
you can see what you set for yourself. Because the thing is, if it's just in your mind, everything in our mind with our busy life, you can forget about it.
That's
But
right.
if you have a reminder, like every day you go to your bathroom, you see your vision board with all your goals written black and white, it resonates with you all the
That's right.
time. You see that. And
Mhm.
that was so powerful. And it helps me a lot because every time, like every year, if at the beginning of the year, and as you said, you don't have to wait like the beginning
No,
of the year
no.
to set your goals. Goals are every single day. Like
Mm-hmm.
whenever you wake up in the morning, you have a goal set for your day. But your
Mm-hmm.
bigger ones, you want to write them down. If you want to buy a Ferrari in 2023, you write it down. It's not like, don't think it's something crazy, or if you want something, you just have to ask about it.
Right.
And I love another quote from the same guy. He said, he said, this is funny and powerful at the same time because this is in the Bible.
Mm.
Yeah, this is
That-
in the Bible. He said, if no, if you have not, it's because you ask not.
Mm.
That's
That
that's
part.
really,
That
you
part.
just you just
Demander
want to
entrepreneur.
ask. And
Right.
you ask yourself, you write it on the board, and that's it. It will happen somehow.
That's
So
right.
that's the
That's
that's
right.
the yeah.
That's powerful because when you mention Steve Harvey, and we're going to come back to define goals and really see what's the best way to go about goals and, setting smart goals and all that. And it's funny you talk about Steve Harvey because the first time that I learned how to make $1 million, it was after watching a video of Steve Harvey where he was breaking it down in 2 or 3 minutes, and it was just so powerful. And I've never seen it that way, right? So he
Nobody
said,
does.
yeah, that's right. So he said, okay, so if you want to make $1 million, okay, you have to ask yourself, what is an amount that you can make right now? And then from what you can make right now, if you can make $10,000 right now, what do you need to do to make $100,000? You just need to be able to duplicate or multiply what you're doing right now and see how that can be multiplied to produce that 10 times, and you are going to make 100,000. If you're already making 100,000, ask yourself, how can you just multiply that and see how that can be done in order for you to make $1 million. And it's very simple because that
It's very
reminds
simple.
me about one thing. When I first arrived in the United States, I think in 2009, and I was looking for jobs. At the time, they had this company that was doing something like multi-level marketing or something. It was called
Mhm,
Primerica, and I think they
mhm,
were mainly um, into insurance, life insurance, and some other um, derived product of life insurance. And they gave us a whole presentation, to encourage or entice us to join. I
mhm.
never joined the company, but that one presentation just completely changed my mind. They explained that there is a way for you to multiply your day. If you're working 8 hours, ask yourself what you can do to have an 80-hour day. To have an 80-hour day, you just need to be able to find a way to write down your processes and create a way for 9 other people to do exactly what you're
The same
doing.
thing that you
And then
do.
so that you can now 10 of you times 8, you can make an 80-hour day. So when I left there, my mind, my brain was boiling. And so coming back to Steve Harvey, if I am currently as a when I started my business, Bridgelingual, as a freelance translator at the time, I was being paid about $600 a day to go interpret from French to English and vice versa at conferences, all of that with the government and some other international organizations. So basically, if I can be paid $600 a day by those organizations, that means they are billing somebody about $1,000 a day for, for me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then they're getting a profit of $400. Assuming that there are 10 of us, that's going to make them $10,000 a day. So they're basically, even if they're just taking the $400 portion, they're making $4,000 out of us. That is to say, there is always a way to accomplish the goal that you want to accomplish, but you want to at least, first of all, create, that goal so that you can visualize it. And how do you visualize it? Coming back to what you said about having a board, even if it's a sticker in your car, wherever you think that you spend the most time, put something there, put a reminder there. If you're not yet a millionaire and you want to become one, put that somewhere as a reminder. I don't know if that makes sense, but Steve Harvey, you mentioning him, I really, that came back, in my mind. And then something else that I learned from him again. I'm going to talk about that later. But Freddy, let me just get back to you again. When it comes to goal, personally, what would you say it's a good goal? Like, how would you define an excellent goal? Because people just have big, blanket goals like that, and it's not really achievable. They just think about it and nothing ever happens. How could you, define an excellent or good goal that can easily be turned into reality?
Okay, so you mentioned something very important. It's you can't just go out there and then have like crazy goals. Like you can't walking at Papa John's. Today's December 15, and then thinking that next year by this time you are going to be able to buy a $6 million car. That's not a realistic goal.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to tackle down like your goal, you have to start. And as you just said, Steve Harvey, he said that we can talk about that simple quote that he said all day long. If you do something right now that gives you $10, you just have to do the same thing 10 times to make 1,000. So you can't go out there and have like a huge goal that you cannot even that is going to scare you.
That's right.
It's really good to dream big, but you don't want to dream like the example I just took right now. You
Right.
want to go step by step and scale your way out.
So a
So
good goal, yeah, a good
yeah,
goal is it's a realistic goal, right?
good goal is a realistic goal.
Yep.
Like 2023, you say, okay, I'm gonna buy me a house. What do you need to buy you a house? If your credit is bad, you start by working on your credit, and then that can take you up to 6 months to work on your credit. If the house you're trying to buy is like $300,000 house, you need to make sure that you can save up some money. If you are a first-time home buyer, you want to make sure that you will be able to afford the 3.5% or the 5% plus closing costs.
Or you can find a
So
program like NACA or some other 0% down
e-
payment out there,
exactly,
right? Mhm.
exactly. And this is a part for you to work on your goal.
Right,
It's not just something that you are going to say, okay, I'm going to buy a house, and then all of a sudden you just find yourself buying a house. It's
right,
a process. So every single goal that you set for yourself, you need to have a process in mind to
right.
how to achieve it.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the best way that personally I think people can have great goals is by using the SMART method. And a smart goal will be S for specific. So for your goal to be specific, you can't just as a goal say, okay, in 2023, I am going to be rich. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't
or,
mean.
in 2023, I am going to make a lot of money. That doesn't mean anything. But if you want to be specific and you say, in 2023, I am going to make $1 million. Okay. That is specific. I'm going to
Specific.
make $1 million in 12 months. And so when I take $1 million, I can now the next the M stands for measurable. And so for me to measure that, I have to be able to break it down
Break it
and say
down.
to myself, in order to make $1 million a year, I need to make about 88,000. I don't have my calculator and I'm not good at math, but
$83,000 a month.
83. There you go. You have
Yeah.
to make about $83,000
Mhm.
every month. And so if I want to make $83,000 every month, that means I need to try to make about 20,000 or 21,000 every week.
Every week.
And in order for me to make $21,000 every week, I need to find a way to make about $3,000 every day. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So that I'm breaking that down, and now in order for me to measure that, I'm gonna have to see whatever I'm doing every day, is that going to be able to produce at least the $3,000 that I want? What are the things that I can do to make $3,000 a day? Is there something that I can do to make 300? Assuming that I'm a barber, for example, if I were to cut hair all day and it's $30 per person, I am going to make $300, right? If I'm a good barber, I have my Instagram, I have my Facebook account. I'm always putting nice videos of before and after of the hair that I've done. It's amazing. There's one guy, I've never met the guy, but I feel like I'm going to one day take a flight and go to Atlanta to meet the guy. His name on Instagram is, I think, Steph the Barber or something like that. Check out the guy on Instagram. He is very creative and he is good at coloring, cutting the hair, styling the hair. He is so talented. And so when you see his video, you want to travel, make an appointment, travel and go get a haircut, get a hair color, get all of that. That's because the guy shows you what he does. So because it's only 8 hours in a day, even if he wanted to, he can't take so many clients, right? So let's say he
Mhm.
can make $300 a day by himself. If he hires, um, let's say 10 other, or I don't know how many other barbers that are going to work as much as he works, then they can all, each of them make $300 a day. He's going to have that much in revenue, even if it's not all profit, right? But
Profit.
unless
Yeah.
he's going to be able to hit that target of $3,000, because all 10 of them, they're going to be able to make $300 each one of them per day by taking 10 clients. But now if he wants to double that, he just wants to either keep 10 clients but make sure that the average service is at $60, right? If the
Exactly.
average service is at $60, that means it's no longer just the haircut. He's gonna add into the haircut, he's gonna add the shampoo, he's gonna add the massage,
Facial,
right?
all kind of stuff.
He's gonna add a few other things that are gonna make you feel like a prince or a princess or a little, a queen or a king when you go there. So by the time you leave, you spend $60 and you're happy to even give him some tips. So this was a way to break down your goal and measure it in such a way that every day you can measure yourself, right? You can assess yourself. That was the S, the M, and even the A, because that's how you assess the goal. And then the R is for reachable. And so you said something about the goal being realistic. Your goal has to be realistic, reachable in such a way that you can't just come here and make a blanket statement of, I think by next year I'm gonna beat Elon Musk and I'm going to beat Jeff Bezos and I'm going to be the next billionaire. The first, the first richest woman, first woman to be the richest person on earth. And even the
It
lottery
doesn't
is not
work
going to
that
take me
way.
there, right?
Yep.
So it has to be realistic because there's a process in everything. anything that happens overnight is dangerous. It can't last. So
Mhm.
realistic, reachable. And then there was a T at the end, which could be used for trackable or time bound. If we already have the A for assess, for assessing the goal, you can also have T as time bound, which means that the goal cannot be for. I think I think one day I'm going to be rich. That is a terrible goal. I think one day I'll be a millionaire. That doesn't mean anything.
That
But if
doesn't
you
mean
say
anything.
within the next 12 months, I am going to be a millionaire, now you know what to do. We already told you that to be a millionaire, you need to produce about $83,000 per month. And for that to happen, you have to produce about 20 something thousand dollars per week. For that to happen, if you're working every day, your activity is every day, you need about $3,000. If it's only 5 days a week, somebody like me, I invest in the stock market. Right now, I'm not as active as I used to be, but when I was active in the stock market, I could focus, plan, organize, analyze, and be able to make $5,000 in a day. But I needed a high level of concentration, which is not easy when you're married. You have baby number one, who's your husband, baby number two, number three, number four. All of that, you have to take care of everybody. So as soon as you want to buy Facebook or Apple, somebody is calling you, mommy. And then when it's time to sell, oh, honey. So all of that, you can't focus. But if I were
True.
able to focus, and my goal was to make $1 million next year, and I decided that that's gonna be through the stock market, man, I'm gonna have a room right in my house where it's not possible. It's like a bunker. Nobody can enter. When I enter that room, everything's locked. Even if somebody dies, it's only when I'm going to get out of the room that I'm going to know the person died. But that's because I have a goal to reach. But that's just, Freddie, that's my way of looking at a smart goal, right? If you really want to achieve something, there are some steps that you need to take for that to happen. And a smart goal will be the best way to do that. And it's applicable in all areas, all industries. Oh my God. This is me. My camera is also trying to make
It's,
me a millionaire next year. But yeah, over to you, Freddie, while I fix this. My camera doesn't want me to have a bunker.
yeah, you said it all. It's really important, and the R is the most important. You need to have a goal that is realistic, because
Right.
if you don't have a realistic goal, you are going to at some point get discouraged and give up.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also, you need to have accountability partners. It can be like a post that you put on Facebook,
Yeah.
or it's just you have to find what drives you, and
Right.
then you have to amplify that driving source. Because some people are driven by purpose. Some people are driven by, like you said, your story last time, like somebody challenged you, and then you say, "Okay, I'm gonna show you what I can do."
That's
So
right.
you have to find that and
Yeah.
make sure that, because a lot of people don't even know what they are driven for,
Correct.
because some people, you have to find that driving force first, and
Mm-hmm.
when you find that, it will be easier for you to explode, because you can do anything. Some people, like, I have a funny story. That
Yeah. Tell
was
me.
my brother-in-law, really cool guy, and that was back home. And
Mm-hmm.
one day, like, he was he got pulled over by police, and then the guy he got out of the car, and the guy put his hand on him. You know what he told me?
No.
He said that because normally you can't fight a police officer,
No.
but just
Yeah.
because my sister was in the car, he fought back. So he told me, like, man, you can't really imagine what, like, the presence of somebody else can do on you. So that's just to explain that some people, like the driving, you can actually, like, somebody can be very calm,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you touch a point like his focal point,
Mm.
now you are going to see his really face.
Yeah,
And we
that's
have to
right.
see to do the same thing in life, because some people, they just live and they don't know what is going to drive them to achieve
Mhm.
big things. Like,
Right.
your example last time was like the perfect example. You just live your life is all simple and good, and somebody is just coming here and say that the neighborhood where you live, it's
That's how you start looking. Oh,
they call it Bambanda when you were very comfortable where you were.
that's
So,
right. The person
and
woke me up by
yeah,
by
that woke you up. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
sometimes,
It's important. I agree with you.
yeah, it's very important,
Mhm.
like, to know what drives you. And
Right.
I was looking at MJ interviews, Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that before every game, do you know how, like, athletes, they are talking shit about the opponent or
Yeah,
whatever.
other
So he
team.
said
Mm-hmm.
before every game, he will put his headset and
Yeah,
just listen to what the other guy said. So that was his driving force to show
yeah,
them
mm,
on the field
yeah.
how it's
What
gonna
he's
mess
made
them
of.
up. Yeah, so that's very important
I
to
agree.
you have to
Yeah.
find accountability partners. It can
Mm-hmm.
be your wife, it can be your fiance, your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell them, man, next year I'm gonna buy me a house. So every day, like, from January to whenever you buy the house, you will remember that you said
Yeah,
to somebody that you are going to buy a house. So
yeah.
that every
That's
time you
right.
go see that person, they're gonna remind you, like, yo, you didn't told me like 2 months ago that you were buying a house. You'll be like, yeah,
I'm still
I'm in the
working on that.
process. Yeah, I'm working on that. So that one, that will drive you to actually, like, move
Yeah.
forward and do what you have to do in order to achieve that goal that you set for yourself.
That's right. That's what you're saying. It's really powerful because
Yeah.
I remember, writing this book of mine, my autobiographical book that I'm working on. I remember that for 7 years I've been struggling with, should I finish writing this book? Should I release it? Should I not? And every time that it was my birthday, I would go on my page and I would say, I will be releasing my book, and would you be interested in pre-ordering my book? I said that in 2018. 2019, I came again. 2020. So there's one person who ordered my book in 2018. So the lady, when I talked about my book again this year, she was like, Coach Lisa, this
The
time
person
around, is that
scared,
book
man.
going to come? I said, yes, it's going to be released, and you're going to be the first to receive a copy because you were the first to order that book. I remember, Freddie, to be honest with you, when you talk about accountability, accountability can be powerful because when
Very.
I gave up, on the book, number one, because I didn't have time to finish it. Number two, I was scared about what was in the book, right? Because most of the time, when you write a book and it includes a lot of, things that are
Yes.
taboo,
Yeah.
my book talks about sexual abuse. It talks about abortion. It talks about a lot of things that are very intense. And I was scared that I'll be judged, right? And so that there will be a lot of victim shaming and things like that. And my mind was not ready to take it, right? My mind wasn't ready for it. So I was telling myself, I don't want to release this book. And then people start attacking me and my family, and I'm not strong enough to take it. So I
Yeah.
kept pushing, pushing back, pushing back. And so when I got to a point where, okay, you know what? I am mentally ready now. Whatever's going to come, I'm ready to take it in. when we talk about accountability, I remember when I wasn't sure and I was about to give up, I called everyone that pre-ordered, and it was just I think three people, if I'm not mistaken, that had pre-ordered that year. It was probably 2018 for my birthday or 2019. I remember. I sent them a message and I said that I don't think the book is going to be released in in the in the next coming months as planned. I think it's going to take longer than expected, and because I don't know when the book is ever going to be released, I don't want to continue to hold your money. So I want to refund you, and when it's time for the book to come out, I will let you
Mhm.
know so that you can order the book. All three of them said no. I don't know if you're getting me. They
They
said
said you're just
no.
gonna write that book.
We don't want the money. They said we don't want the money. We want the
The
book.
book, not.
So now I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck with the money from these three people. I don't have the book, but I have their money. And they don't want their money back. They want the book at all costs. So now I'm stuck. And I am my word is very important to me. If there's one thing, my word is like a bond, is like a blank check. If I say something, I'm not going to live until I do all my best to make it happen. So now, yeah, I
Yeah.
had to do something. It took a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Here we are. But that's the power of accountability. And so every
Really.
time the people will come to my inbox and be like, Coach Lisa, any progress? Do you already have a date? Do you know when the book is going to be released? That's somehow
Yeah, it puts
that
pressure on you.
is pressure. And that helps, Becca.
A
That helps.
lot.
Some people don't like that. And to come back to what you say, we don't want people to think that there's only one way to skin a cat. You can choose what works for you. Some people don't like to talk about something until they've done it, right? And even as we speak, there are some people that have bought houses, and when they did their testimonial and everything, and I asked them, "Would you be okay if I release the video or the photo that we took, on your closing day?" And they said no, because they're not very comfortable that people would know they bought a house, right? Because there's so many things that come with having a house. If you have a house now and everybody knows that you have a house, you now have to have a housewarming. You now have to invite people to your house. You now have to do all these things. So it's a lot of pressure. People would rather do everything. The house has to be decorated. We have to have enough money to invite people for housewarming. It's only at that point that they're going to create an invitation now and send to those people. So yeah, I understand. Not everybody works the same way. I personally, when I find something that I want to do, I'm excited about it. I talk about it every day and it motivates me. So please, if you're watching us today, don't feel like you have to absolutely do things the way we said. What works for us may not work for you. But as long as you find something that will motivate you, that can be your children, it can be your mother. I remember Les Brown saying that his adoptive mother was his motivation, it was his driving force. Every day when he went out there to win contracts with companies, he was dreaming of the day that he could buy his mom a house finally, right? So that's something that was driving him every day to get better, better, go out there and grind. And I remember same thing for LeBron James, same thing for so many people out there that were being driven by certain things that were important to them. In my case, and I don't know, Freddie, I'm gonna give you the floor for you to say, talk about yourself and about something that personally drives you a lot. But me, one of my driving forces, um, it's really my children, right? My children, first of all, my first son, because he was conceived in a very tough situation. And those who are going to read my book will see that I was sleeping on the floor with my son. I didn't have a bed, nothing. I told you last time that I celebrated my first mattress,
It's
right?
the finance master.
Right. So I celebrated the mattress. And, so before that, I was sleeping on the floor and I was pregnant. So to me, if you were just me, there would be things that, I wouldn't bother, who cares or whatever. But because there was a small human being in there that did not ask to be here, that was coming into this world I felt compelled to give him a better life, right, than what I was in. I felt like he didn't deserve to be born in such circumstances. And for that reason, every day I was going out there to find something to do. And my second driving force is also my mom. My mom has sacrificed basically literally everything, her life, to be with me, to support me, to go everywhere with me, to help me with my children. So to me, knowing how, what the conditions that we lived in, we didn't really have a real house. And I wanted to be able to build a house for my mom. So something like that every day was really haunting me that, I will not have rest until there is a place, in my village that my mother can call her house. So what about you?
Hmm. Honestly, I never, as of today, I don't think I discover my my purpose every single day is when I know about something, I always want to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what drives me if I want to know as many things as possible so I can share with others.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, every single time I want to do something new, I'm like, whoa, okay. So if I'm able to do this and I can talk about it, it might help somebody else.
Right.
I did not have a very difficult um, when I was young. My life was not because my parents was working, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never had like a really difficult life.
Yeah.
But I'm
Even when your
always,
dad retired, you said your sister took over and was helping you with your
yeah,
studies.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I never find myself in a situation where I was really, but at the same time, I like to have a good life. Like when I'm talking about, I like to have a great life. Like
Yeah.
I always dreamed about living my dream, like
Right.
living my dream. So to
Mm-hmm.
buy whatever I have in my mind. But at
Mm-hmm.
some point, I was like, what will be the point if you can't pass it down? How are you going to be remembered? That's
Right.
one. That one is very important to me. Like every day when I wake up, I'm like, if I happen to die today, how am I going to be remembered?
Right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
going to be like, how many people did I impact in my life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that
And that
drives me
that's
to,
powerful. That's a
yeah.
powerful driving force, and it reminds me about something that Michelle Obama, one of the women that I admire the most on earth. She said that success is not how much wealth you have amassed over the years, but it's how many lives you've impacted over the years. And so that is something that's always in the back of my mind when I wake up every day. Those who follow me over the years, there's a track record of me always sharing my knowledge, and that's actually what brought you and I together, is that we wanted to find a way to share what we know with others, our difficulties, so that they don't go through that, the solutions that we found, the opportunities that we found, so that it
Mhm.
can help them, the things that we had to take 5 years to achieve, see how they can achieve that in a shorter period of time. That is something that makes me happy, because at this point I know that, okay, I have given a great life to my children. They can go to great schools. They live in a beautiful neighborhood, with golf course, with very safe. They can enjoy, they can walk out at night and not have to worry about anything. It's a beautiful neighborhood. And my mom has a house now. So, those things that were basic needs and basic, important things to me, I have been able to achieve those things. Like you said, another thing we have in common, we like good stuff.
No,
We
we
like
love
ourselves.
this stuff.
We love ourselves a good house, a good car, a comfortable, we like a comfortable life, but we also want to be able to find a way to not be the ones that are flaunting this beautiful life. And people are going to come and praise us and envy us, but they don't know how to get there. We want to be able to show everyone this is what we're doing. We're doing
Mhm.
real estate, we're doing Airbnb, we're doing car flipping, we're doing the stock market, we're doing all of these
Real
things. We
estate.
share that.
Yeah.
So that's powerful, because at the end of the day, it's very fulfilling, and that is part of the goals. And so to us, to you and I today, as we set our goals for next year, there's always something that we include for what we're going to do for others, right? We're
Exactly.
doing this podcast today. After a long day, you're tired. I am tired, but we're doing this. It's not going to give us a dime, but at least it's probably going to motivate someone out there and help that person achieve their goals. There's another thing that I would like us to touch on as we talk about goals. I think um, I think it's important that people understand the importance of celebrating their wins. And that's why, you remember, you and I, we are in a group, and I recently asked if people wanted to share a picture and share what they were proud about on that picture or something like that. It's important that we celebrate the milestones, because if you set a great goal and you're in that process working hard to achieve the goal, and you can track your goal, you can assess the goal, it is looking good, everything is showing, you're showing progress, and you know that you're going to reach this goal, but you're stuck in just working about the goal, and you don't live. You don't celebrate your wins in the process, your milestones in the process. At one point, it's going to make you sick, right? It's going to drive you
Exactly.
crazy. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have some, you want to touch on that, like how do you, and you can take an example on yourself. You used to be a
That,
workaholic yourself.
yeah, that my wife used to just I remember when we bought this house, to
Hmm.
be honest with you, I wasn't fulfilled because I was just like, go, 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 go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, so she she told me something very like, I came back, and then, well, what was I doing? I came back home, and I told her that I had another appointment,
Mm.
and it was summertime, the first year we bought the house, and she was like, "So you are not going to spend some time in the pool with me?" I'm like, "No, I have to go." And I came back. She said that, "When do you stop?" I'm like, "What
Mm.
do you mean?" I'm like, she said, like, she's like, "We bought the house with the pool, and you never even step in the pool." And I sat down. I was like, hmm.
What was the point? What was
So
the point of
that
buying a
day,
house with a pool?
yeah, I felt like there was something. And then my kid likes to enjoy to do things with me.
Mm.
So when I'm not around, they are not motivated to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we do activities together. And
Yeah.
so that day I sat down like, yeah, she's actually right. And last time we were talking about that, and I told you that I see every time you do something, that's something that I was I have a very at some point, but right now I'm trying to every time I do something, and I feel very good about being grateful, because I felt like sometimes I wasn't even grateful for what I achieved.
Right.
So I
Right.
was like,
Mhm.
okay, my goal for this year was to buy 10 houses. I'm at three right now. And I'll beat myself to like, no, it's not
Mm.
acceptable. But
Mhm.
sometimes you have to step back, sit down, and watch
Appreciate. I appreciate the journey.
appreciate what you have. Because a lot of people, they will see what I have and they'll like, oh man, that's great. And I myself, I don't even recognize it.
Right.
And at some point, I was just like, I didn't feel really. So right now,
Mm.
every single small thing, if I sell one car a day, I'll blast the music in the car and singing out loud, being happy because at
Yeah.
sometime in the life you take everything for granted,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
is where, and when you start to do that, you don't even enjoy the small things that you have.
That's right.
Because and this that gratefulness, like everything you celebrate, it helps you to reach the next milestone.
That's
It
right.
helps you a
That's
lot
right. Mm-hmm.
because I was
Mm-hmm.
so upset and pissed off that I at some point I was missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, what is the
What are we
point?
doing this for? What are we
Yeah,
doing this for?
what so what you like being grateful for every single victories is very, very important. And
Yeah.
every time you do that, you feel very good about yourself.
That's amazing. That's
You can
amazing.
set like a crazy big goal. If you do just a portion of it, be
Yeah.
happy
That's progress.
because that will drive you to move forward and do
Mhm.
another little bit and be happy. You can treat yourself if you like, like Louis Vuitton, like cash
Another
flow
hat. You
queen.
can go get yourself another hat.
Yeah, you can like spend 300-400 to buy what you like,
Yeah.
and then everything you are going to look at that thing, you'll be like, okay, if I like squeeze myself a little bit, I can buy another bag. I can buy another shoes. I can help
Right.
somebody. I can so that's very important. And then
Yeah.
thank you very much for that because you emphasized it. One day we were talking. I saw what your post. You said that you sold the house. You were so happy. I was like, dang, I'm doing something wrong for sure. So so
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No,
as
I mean
yeah.
I do not, and I wasn't like that before, right? I used to be a workaholic and I would not have a life. And one day I went to a funeral, and the
Mm,
it was a gentleman, a man, a young man who passed away, and he was married. He had young children that were, I think, in high school or something. And then so the first child, a girl, she took the floor to give a eulogy, and she said something about her father. She said that my father wanted us to have a great life. He worked so hard every day. Even when he left his office, he will get home and he will continue to work,
mhm,
just because he wanted to be the best in the company that he was working for. And he was an accountant, so he would go home with work, and so he didn't really spend a lot of time with his family. And um, the girl said that one thing that he had is she asked her father was, would you be able to spend
mhm,
Christmas, end of the year, would you be able to spare some time, not work, and really spend time with us? That's the only gift that I want, is to be able to spend time with you during the holidays this end of the year. And right before the end of the year, her dad passed away. So as she was saying that, it touched me. It changed everything, my perspective, everything. When I say workaholic, I had at least five things that I had going on. Like, I didn't have a life. I could barely see my children. My mom was helping me with the children. I had a terrible relationship with my husband. I would see other people more than I see him. I could barely see him because I was busy doing a lot of things with other people. I would at night I'll be MC at events. During the day I'll be going to conferences to interpret, and then after that I'll be going to school for master's degree. And then after that, I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, I'll be involved in community work, I'll be doing everything out there except for in my house. So she completely changed my perspective. And when that happened, I looked back and I noticed that I hadn't taken a vacation for at least for at least 15, I don't know how many years, for at least 15 years. I had worked
Wow.
basically all my life. In fact, my second child was born, or almost born at work in a call center where I was working, and I was working overtime. And that day I signed up for overtime, and I signed up for more overtime the coming days. So the time that I was supposed to work overtime, I was in the hospital giving birth. That's how much I was working. But that has changed. For the past year, since I turned 40, I said I have worked hard enough. Since I was 18, I was already working to take care of myself, going to school, evening school. I had to work to take care of my parents because they didn't have any sources of income. I had to work to take care of my siblings, older ones, younger ones. I had to take care of everything and
Cousins.
everybody. At one point, at one point, we were five of us in that little room that I told you about where I was pregnant and I gave birth in that room. I was there. My baby was there. My mom was there. My junior sister, and by the way, I'm in her beautiful house here in Florida, vacationing right now. My junior sister was in that tiny little room with me, in Dado, and my older brother, the one that I follow, was there with me. Ça fait quatre, c'est ça. And then my youngest brother was there with me. So we were five of us all sleeping on that same mattress that I told you about, in that same room, with the same mold, with the same flooding, with everything that you can imagine. And so I had to find a way to get us out of that kind of precarity, that kind of terrible level of poverty. So, when you go through such things, it, you don't want to go back there. You don't want
Yeah.
to go back there. So I spent my whole life working hard so that I don't, so that I'm never poor again. You know what I mean? So I had that scarcity mindset, and we're going to talk about scarcity mindset maybe in our next episode. But
Yeah.
I had that scarcity mindset in my mind. I was traumatized. I had anxiety because I was scared that I can go back to being poor, you know? And so that's why I work hard. I work overtime. I work multiple jobs. I have multiple sources of income. At one point, I had a 9 to 5 job, and I had my businesses going, and I had all of that going on, right? So right now, as soon as I turned 40, I decided that I'm going to celebrate every milestone, and every quarter, every trimester, every 3 months, I'm taking a vacation. I choose where I want to go. For the past month, that I've been killing it in real estate. And I have a lot of people that are waiting. Like, my wait list is up to here of people that are waiting for me to come get their houses. But I told them, I'm only one woman.
Sometimes it's very important
I
to
need
take
this
time for
break.
yourself.
Yeah, I need this
Very
break.
important.
And
Yeah.
since I don't cook, I just come sit here, but I love to eat. So I sit here. My sister cooks every day. She loves cooking. Her best favorite channel is cooking channel, and she has all kinds of stuff in this kitchen. The creuset. She invests all her money. When I invest my money buying hats, every time that I sell a house, if I sell 12 houses, I offer myself 12 hats. She buys all kinds of kitchen stuff. So I sit here and I enjoy her good food every day. Then I go watch a movie, and then I come here and talk to Freddy. That's
That's
gonna
it.
be my life until the end of the year.
It's just a good life.
Reward yourself, celebrate
Yeah.
every milestone, Freddy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Very important.
Yeah.
I
If
just
you
wanna,
want
I just
the
wanna
money to
say
keep coming of everything, you have to appreciate what you already
that
have.
part. That part. I wanted to go back to what you said earlier as we close this episode. I wanted us to mention and gratitude. We talked about setting smart goals. We talked about celebrating your wins. We talked about your driving force. You have to find your driving force. What is something that motivates you? What's your purpose? What are you running after, right? What what makes you wake up every day? What makes you run? And we also talked about we you mentioned being grateful, and that I want us to close with that, with gratitude, because when you have goals, very smart goals, you cannot achieve that alone. There are people around you that are contributing to that success. And those people could be your clients, those people could be your colleagues who are helping you when you're stuck. Those people could be your family members who are in your support system when when you want certain things done. Those people could be, even just us here online. Sometimes we come here, Freddie and I, we talk for 1 hour, and we may not measure the impact of what we just said, but it could trigger something into someone. If you want
It
to
will.
be grateful. And one of the things that you can do, just to show gratitude, you could at least, share this episode with somebody, because sharing is caring. You could at least, take this and apply that for your life, so that, at least what we're saying, we're planting the seed. Let that grow in people's life, so that people can also learn from you, right, later on. So I want you to, close today's episode with gratitude, and just a few things that you might want to say, because I know you mentioned that, but you didn't really go deep into it.
Yeah. When I was talking about gratitude, it's something that is going to, like I said, it will drive you. Like every time you are grateful for something, first of all, you are going to have more coming to you, because someone that is grateful will
We'll
always
receive
have more.
more. That's right.
Always.
Yeah.
Some people, like, they are not even grateful to wake up in the morning. They
Yeah.
take it for granted. It's not like some people will go to bed and never wake up again. So
That's
you're
right.
grateful for that. You wake up in the morning, as we said in the beginning, you have your goal written black and white. It can be on the board. You mentioned it, you can put it in your car. If you drive the same car every day, I can't put it in my car because I don't have the same car every day. You can,
The car guru. Of course, you can
you
have a
can
different car every day.
Nah, yeah, I have different cars every day, so I can put in my car. You can put in your office when you sit down in your office. You always
Mhm.
have to remind yourself what goal you set for your life.
That's
And
right.
then remember the quote from Steve Harvey. He said, "You have not if you ask not."
That's right. Ask for it.
So if you
Ask
don't
for it.
ask for it, like you can't even like you can't have in your mind that okay, I'm going to open a business next year. You have to write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down. You put somewhere where you are going to see it every day. You can tell it to your friend. We talk about accountability. It's
Hmm.
you can post on Facebook. That
Yeah.
can be because Facebook, a lot of people are going to see it, and
That's
then they are
right.
going to tell it to you on your face.
That's
Like,
right.
man, you said that next year you are going to open your business. Where the business at? They're gonna ask you the question, and that's
Yeah.
gonna put pressure on you.
That's right.
So
Hmm.
you can do that, and also what is you add something to that, and that
Yeah.
was what
Um.
accountability. We
I
talked about it.
Yeah. Uh yeah, when it comes to goals, I think we went, like, we really covered it, especially with Steve Harvey, and how to break down your goals and everything. But again, at the end of the day, anything that you cannot visualize cannot materialize, right? And so I
Exactly.
want to leave everyone with this example of a gentleman that I was watching on YouTube, and he said that he wanted to become a millionaire. So for that, he wanted to visualize what it looks like to be, what $1 million looks like. So
That's right. Yeah.
he took a $100 bill, and then he added the zeros. So he added the zeros, and then he pinned that somewhere where he will see everything. He will see that that's my goal.
Mhm.
That's a goal that I want to achieve. I want to reach that $1 million. And just because he had that goal right there for him to visualize it. So he said something that was powerful. He said, you have to be able to, um, in order to achieve a goal, you have to be able to experience it, make all your senses get involved. And so when he
Mhm.
talked about touching it, he had to have that bill that he can charge to see a bill with the $1 million on it.
$1
He had
million
to he
bill.
had to he had to eat something that makes him feel like he's a millionaire. So he asked himself, where do millionaires eat? And so he found out, what are some of the nice places where the millionaires eat. And he decided to go there. Even when he didn't have money to buy the food, he ordered a drink. And so he would
That's
just
it.
sit there and feel like a
And sip,
millionaire. But he
and
had
sip a
to.
glass of water
Even
for
yeah,
two
even
hours.
that's for water. Nobody's gonna bother you. So he sat there and he was able to, just taste something in the
Yeah.
environment where the millionaires are. And so, so what do they smell like? What do millionaires smell like? And he wanted to see, okay, what are the best fragrances that millionaires wear? And so he checked out a few of them, and then he saved some money. And he said to himself, if it's just a fragrance, at least I can afford that one. And so
Yeah.
he went to Neiman Marcus, and he bought one of the most used, most popular fragrance that millionaires, or people that have elevated their lives, or affluent people, they use. And to be honest with you, if you don't sit or walk near somebody who's wearing $1 million. Yeah, when I say $1 million, doesn't mean the cologne. Um, it's $1 million in terms of price. But if you don't pass near someone like that, or sit near someone like that, and you just smell that beautiful fragrance, you will not know the difference when somebody gets a fragrance from Ross, and sprays that on. You will not know the difference. I'm sorry, but until you sit there. And I remember one day, I was in the feeling the side of things, and what do people eat? What do millionaires eat? So I was applying what the guys said, and I went to a beautiful restaurant in Potomac, and I sat there. I ordered tacos. They had some special tacos that were a little bit expensive, but at least affordable for my level. So I
Yeah.
sat there, and a lady came and sat next to me. Freddie, I cannot forget. Up until today, I can feel like if I just pass here and somebody has the same fragrance, I would know it. So I couldn't hold myself. I just asked the lady, "Do you mind, please? What is the name of that fragrance you wear?" And she said something by Chanel, or Chanel something something. And so I wrote it down, try to go find out how much it cost. And then I bought that because I was like, "But I have to feel this." So again, the guy wants you to eat like a millionaire, smell something like what millionaires smell like. You have to visualize what millionaires live like what $1 million looks like. So guys, make this an experience.
An
When you want to
experience.
do
Yeah.
something,
That's really
make it
important.
make it an experience so that you can really feel it, you can touch it, you can smell it, you can have a taste of it. So that's just what I can tell you when it comes to your goal. You're setting your goal. Don't make your goal something theoretical. Don't make your goal something abstract. Don't make your goal something like Freddy said, something that is unrealistic.
That you're
Go
gonna
ahead
buy
and
SpaceX and
go out
hire
there.
Elon Musk to work with you.
So if your goal is to lose some weight or something like that, you can't be walking around those who are overweight and eating more, I mean, more and more. You have to be around people that are fit. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Copy what they're doing. So experience it. You want to live a millionaire life. Go to find out how can you go on a boat for a few minutes. How can you take a private jet for an
Mhm.
hour? How can you do something? Experience it. That's if you don't remember anything from what we said today, set smart goals, break them down into small, achievable pieces, trackable pieces. Be grateful and, just experience what you want to achieve. And definitely, you'll be able to achieve your goals that way. This is the end of this episode, Freddie. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. And as
Thank you.
usual, we're going to see our viewers for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you're going to share it with all your friends and families. And if you have any suggestions of topics that you would like us to touch on, we will be glad to take your feedback. So please
Mhm.
reach out to us and also share your knowledge in the comments so that other people can learn from you as well. We do not
Absolutely.
want to give the impression that we are the experts. We just want to be able to share what we know. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Freddie, take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.